So with part 3 of the 10th anniversary, you're able to grab one of the 6 new anniversary LRs completely for free just by playing the game, which is absolutely insane. And because of that, we're going to be making team building guides for all 6 LRs today. What teams are the best for them, how you can make them look really good, and everything, just around that. So I'll be showing multiple builds, and I don't want to necessarily spam, oh, just run them on all the anniversary teams, because people might not have all of them. So I'll be showing other characters that released in the past year or so, and kind of talking about how this character may affect that different team. But let me know what you guys are thinking. If you already have a team in mind for this Vegito, for example, which is the first character I'm starting off, let me know. But again, the biggest thing about this guy is that you want to build the team maybe around his counters, just because once you get these counters off, this guy will just do absurd damage. He has the target skill protection mechanic, but there just is a lot to really think about him. And beyond that, slot ones for this guy could be very important, because when he's in the Goku form for the first 3-4ish turns, he's a slot 2 character primarily, so you can't put him there. So you may need a character that could help him out in that first spot of the rotation. But that's basically how I'm going to be building these teams in mind. But let's go ahead and hop in with his own category team specifically. Now, this TEQ Vegito's leader skill is the Earth Protecting Heroes category, Fused Fighters category, or Pure Saiyans category, key 3, and then 200% to HP and 170% to attack and defense. Then if any of those characters are also in the Earth Bred Fighters category or Patara category, they get an additional 50% to HP, attack, and defense. So all in all, if they're on the full leader skill, they will get 250% HP and 220% attack and defense. This leader skill is not only extremely expansive, but gives the best boost in the game in comparison to most of the other characters. So in my opinion, this is probably just the best team in the game. This guy is doing really good for him in that different department. But again, just a quick little team build I think that could really work well for him is something like this, where you're able to have these characters slot 1 for him early on. A character like Beast Gohan, TEQ Broly, and then even EJUI Goku could be very pivotal to living the very most difficult content in the game, right? But those aren't the only options for like a slot 1 build. You could even go ahead and run, let's say, maybe you don't have TEQ Broly, Daima Goku. Daima Goku is really good, I think, on this team as well, because of the fact that him and the Goku will be sharing this all in the family link, which is 20% defense. Now, this is not a necessity. Beast Gohan also shared this link, by the way. But I think a lot of people may not have Daima Goku compared to even like TEQ Broly or something, because Daima Goku was just the New Year's banner right before the anniversary, while TEQ Broly was like, the worldwide banner. So I think a lot of people could have him, or maybe got him with coins. Now, just in general, some other sub options that you could run just to take a look here. If you have the Super Saiyan 4 Goku, this guy will be really good for the Super Vegito counters, because of the fact that on his ATG Super Attack, he provides a 2-turn 44% attack and defense boost. Keep in mind, the Super Attack effect attack raises directly feed into counter damage. So the counter damage that this Vegito will do when this ability is up is astronomical. It's a crazy ability. You know what, the reason why I have Ejo Vegito here, he's a nice little folding support, but he also has something like that. So if you have this guy with TEQ Vegito, you use TEQ Vegito's active skill, this character won't be in any danger of getting hit with a super attack, but you could put him in slot 1, and then you get the 35% attack raise here. That will also power up Vegito's counters by quite a bit, right? Just going through here, just naming some other really good characters. If you really like Namek Goku, you could definitely run him here. I personally am not the biggest fan of him, but in, content that might not be like, oh, hitting you mega billion damage instantly, and maybe you could build this guy up a little in a safe environment, this guy could work as a slot 1 character for you. This Super Saiyan 2 Gohan right here, this guy is a floating support Rainbow Orb Changer, right? He's just another option. Esther Gogeta, just another kind of option as floating around. You could run even Blue Evolution, any of the anniversary LRs, even like this, well, you don't really want to run this guy. I think some people may, talk about him a little. Not really, because he does support Battle of Fate and Reps Universe 7. That support does not apply to Vegito. It's Broly is not a character you would run here. These extreme class characters, not really. I think physical Super Saiyan 2 Goku, you could run blue Gogeta here, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Like, there's a lot of options. And the thing about this is, you don't necessarily even have to run the most powerful characters, like even a character like Namagoku, right? I think Namagoku is overall a good character, but he's, in my opinion, he's not like, you know, oh, top 10 character. Doesn't have to be, because TEQ Vegito has the target skill when you transform into him on turn 5. If you don't know what a target skill is, it basically brings all attacks towards him. Not only is he going to counter most of those attacks, unless they're super, but he will essentially allow your other characters to not get hit. So even if you have a weaker character defensively, later on in the fight, they can be protected, which is going to be really nice. You also have the Year 7 characters. These should be getting an easy A soon. Now, while they're not on the full leader skill, they could still be useful. TEQ Gogeta, TEQ UI Goku, like the options here are, it feels like they're endless, man. Like if I just ramble off of any character that's good at this team, this is gonna take forever. But again, like a build that I personally really like running is, again, the build I showed at the start, where, you know, this is considering that, you know, I'm not running any of the other anniversary characters, but something like this is really good. Me personally, I also, just for the fun of it, I like running Damagoku a lot. So kind of like a build like this. Maybe you don't like AGL Super Vegito, you could summon a bunch of different options, like into Blue Evolution Vegeta. Man, there's so many on this team, and this is why I think this team is probably just the best in the game. I mean, realistically, if you're running this guy, you might as well run his team, but let's say you want to run some other setups, I have them for you as well. Now, the next team we're going to be talking about is AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku's team. Pretty much Majin Buu Saga. You could also run TEQ Gotenks as a leader. Now, this guy specifically does have the Otherworld Warriors or Accelerated Battle teams here, but I feel like for Majin Buu Saga, you kind of want to run primarily Majin Buu Saga, because a lot of these characters have the restriction to needing a Majin Buu Saga team. And also, I don't have TEQ Gotenks, so I guess just as an example, let's actually just put the TUR TEQ Gotenks on here. I think that'll be probably a better option. You could use either of them as a leader, but realistically, you'll use TEQ Gotenks as your Majin Buu Saga leader if you have him. It could also be Angel Super Saiyan 3 Goku, which one of the two you want. Actually, again, I don't have LR Gotenks, but I'm going to get it with my free Purungo Wish, which is really funny. Now, this category is definitely not as expansive as Vegito's team, but there are some still good options. AGL Super Vegito's there. I really like Angel Super Saiyan 3, so let's see you have him. Let's go ahead and you could put like Int Super Saiyan 2 Goku here. Int Ultimate Gohan, this guy is like a really good floating support. If you have a full super class team, that could really work out. And this team is also like, you know, there's a lot of extreme class and super class options, but you kind of want to have a super class version of this team, I think, very much. So that could be nice. I mean, this STR Gohan is a really good option here. And the thing here is that we do have a slot 1 in this guy right now, but we want to find one other slot 1 option that I think would be really nice for this team. And, you know, really looking at it, you could probably use Gotenks as slot 1 if you really have to. Maybe you want another support unit. You have this Hercule here. Yeah, I'm actually really looking here. Slot 1s for this specific setup, there's not really too many going around, so maybe you could argue I want to run AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku as my leader, so I could have these consistent slot 1 options available to me. I think that's like not a bad idea at all, because early slot 1 could be a little dangerous, because, you know, if you're at this guy in slot 1, he's kind of like dodge or dying for you right there. But I think, you know, in a lot of content, there are Ki Blast super attacks where Gotenks could help out. I mean, if you have to, you could definitely run this guy as a slot 1 character. It could be a little dangerous, you know, after he takes the first hits. The 85% dodge, to me, has a lot of times been dodge or die, but, you know, I think he'll still be just fine for the most part. You could run Physical Super Saiyan 2 Goku again, Angel Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta. The thing about him is that he has the unit super attack with the Majin Buu Saga Goku. This guy is a Majin Buu Saga Goku, right? And again, even later on, you can get this guy out and you can protect one of your rotations. So kind of maybe something similar to around this. Maybe you want to run AGL Vegito. Again, this team is not as good, but it's just a fun little team you could run. Just sub in a bunch of these different like fun characters you could use. If you want to run Angel, or not Angel, TEQ Vegito that turns into Majin Vegeta, that works too. And keep in mind, the thing about Gotenks that's really good with this Vegito is that this when it's LR Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, he does want a final trump card character on the team. So even if you don't have a Gotenks friend, you could still run Gotenks on your team because this guy is also a final trump card character as he does fuse into Vegito. So that is another useful option there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the Majin Buu Saga team. Let's hop in over to the next one. Now, the next team I want to show up is the Kamehameha team. This is just a flat 200% Carnival leader team led by this STR Gohan. I think a lot of people may potentially have this guy. He was really powerful. I mean, on release, you could argue this guy was the best unit in the game even. So I'm sure a lot of people may potentially have this character. He's also, again, an All in the Family character, which will be able to give this guy some defensive links. Now, both these characters are slot 2 characters, so you want to make sure you get your slot 1s in here, which, again, you could run even a very similar build to like Majin Buu Saga. You have this guy going around, and then if you have like Gohan's floating, maybe another Majin Buu Saga character floating, that could work. UI Goku, we talked about him earlier, very powerful. I mean, early on, if you have Super Saiyan 4 Goku, this guy's another character that can kind of move around in slot 1 here. We talked about this guy a little bit, but TEQ Gogeta could be another like kind of floating rainbow orb changer character there. I think, you know, you could make a lot of different potential setups with this team. You could even run like, what if you could run a rotation of like the Super Saiyan 4s, then you could have like UI Goku plus Super Vegito, and then maybe floating around you have in Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Again, maybe you want to go ahead and do something like Namek Goku plus the Goku and Vegeta, right? That could work too. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could run this guy. I don't know if I would really run him in the most difficult fights though, but something like this could be really good. You could maybe take advantage of like a movie heroes all-out struggle kind of setup. So maybe you could have this guy, physical Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, TEQ Gogeta, just fill this team up with a lot of these movie heroes all-out struggle characters. And then you could get this guy's multi-turn support up. And with this guy's multi-turn support, that will be giving this character a lot of extra defense to build really well with their damage reduction. And, you know, once you get into Vegeta, or, well, that's not Vegeta. Once you get into Vegeta, you could actually have a lot of defense starting off. This guy does want to build up a little, so having that extra start of turn defense could be very useful for him, at least, you know, even on this 200% leader skill team. If you really wanted to run Fapu, you could also run Fapu here. But, yeah, again, this is just a fun little team that I think you could really just do a bunch of different things with, like Goten and Trunks here could work, even physical Super Saiyan 2. Again, a lot of these characters are still the same good characters, but you could build the team a little differently to kind of fit your needs. I guess a team build like this doesn't really have any slot 1 characters, but I'm just bringing up some different examples here. So yeah, no, this is the Kamehameha team. I think this will be just a very nice little team there. And this character, once you get the family Kamehameha, could hit really, really hard. But I also like the idea of like this guy floating around, giving this guy on the family early on. That could be really, really cool. So there you go. Now, a really interesting thing you could do is run this guy in Glorio's team, actually. Glorio is 170% to HP attack and defense, right? To the Vegito specifically, but I think you could run like a fun little mix of super class and extreme class here, right? Maybe you have Daimagoku. I think, you know, Daimagoku does indeed fit this team. So what if you run those two as a rotation, then kind of dip into villains here? Maybe you can go ahead and even get, you know, someone like Wuhan and Janemba as a rotation together. Then floating around, you could have some just random support character like Vegito. You could have some other just support character that could just kind of do their own thing. Again, this looks like it's a little bit of a weird, wonky, but fun team at the same time. You could theoretically, I guess, you could run this guy, but not really, right? Because he only supports when there's extreme class allies on rotation. You could run in Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Again, this is just fun if you want to like kind of juice this guy up a little. Okay, my Daimagoku does provide a 35% or 41% attack buff, right, for 2 turns. So this is why I was talking about him a little earlier as well, because the counter damage that this guy could provide to Vegito could be very nasty. And we could even run Beast Gohan on this team. Like, there's a lot of really interesting options. Maybe you could have a Beast Gohan plus TEQ Vegito rotation, a villain rotation, and just kind of just have some fun here. Just like with a bunch of different units you may be interested in. And I think in comparison to the other teams, Glorio providing all that key and support will make things kind of ease through a little more compared to, again, a lot of these other kind of setups that you could do. Maybe a third floating support character could be nice. I mean, hey, you know, if you're running a weaker event, just put Kid Buu on here and watch some Vegito counters go kind of crazy, right? So there's just a little fun thing, right? Not like necessarily, I mean, you could definitely take a team like this into the hardest fights in the game, but you know, if you're running Kid Buu, maybe not as much. Maybe even this guy, right? You know, he could have his healing and everything like that. PyCon, wait for PyCon's easy 8, this guy will be correct, but not. Again, this is just more of a fun little thing here. I think you can kind of run TEQ if you really like Glorio and you want to see TEQ with like a lot of this Glorio support going on. He won't be on that 220% leader scope, but Glorio's multi-turn support does provide a lot of stats still, so maybe you could see some really interesting numbers from this guy. And I think from here, we'll end things off. I mean, those are 4 teams I think this character could work on. His own team and then 3 extra ones. This guy's on so many different category teams. Look at the list of teams. There's just so many options you could choose, but I chose some of the better teams just so you guys can know where you could run them. Like, you could also run them on the Super Saiyans team led by the Super Saiyan trio, right? You can get a lot of these same characters on there as well, but at this point, you know, maybe it'll get a little repetitive of, you know, you kind of know what characters you run with him, you know, by the same in the video. So again, let me know what y'all thinking. I hope this helped out with, you know, you guys in terms of running this Vegito if you decide to get him. Thanks y'all for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.